999. The First Alert Team, named best in Georgia. Live from Augusta, you're watching News 12, live at 5.
Veterans Day might be tomorrow, but Augusta University hosted events today for those who have served, but also for those thinking about serving. Why it is so important, we stop to thank each one of them.
But first, there are a handful of events happening this weekend across the CSRA, and tonight, weather is going to play a big factor for all of those events, as we've seen the Columbia County Fair this evening already canceled, Riley. We have a lot of green there on the radar.
Absolutely, guys. Unfortunately, looking very wet for us the rest of this evening, tonight, and then pretty much all weekend long. And you can see what our temperatures are going to do. Going to drop all the way down to the 50s. We've been in the 70s most of this afternoon. Actually did officially get up to 79 earlier today in Augusta, but we are expecting the wedge to show up. So temperatures will be dropping tonight, and you can see a current look at our radar network showing some light rain around, not necessarily overly heavy, but this is just going to be in the forecast for us for the next several hours. So if you are planning to head out this evening, not a bad idea to have the rain jacket close by, umbrella, and for those football games, also bring a towel just so you can wipe off the bleachers, because most of the region has now seen at least some light rain. Once we continue into tonight and the weekend, you can see those rain chances just ramp up. We are expecting widespread rain across the region starting tomorrow in the morning and lasting through most of the day. You could see a break for maybe 30, 45 minutes, but this rain is expected to be pretty continuous throughout the day Saturday. That northeast wind is going to keep our temperatures much cooler in the 50s. Heading into Sunday, we're expecting another round. Most likely going to see the rain pick up again Sunday morning, sticking around through Sunday afternoon before it does finally clear out by Sunday night. So if you had outdoor plans this weekend, unfortunately not looking the best to be outside. Very high rain chances throughout the day Saturday, even most of our Sunday. It's not really until we get closer to sunset those rain chances do go down. We're going to have much more on this forecast in just a bit, but let's get a quick update on your First Alert traffic.
And now, First Alert traffic.
All right, folks, we are tracking a fairly bad accident here just outside of our studios. This is a look at I-20. This is right over the overpass that goes under or over Riverwatch Parkway, so near exit 200. This is the westbound lane. Multiple vehicles have been involved in this accident, and they're actually working to get this truck, what looks like a truck right here, on its right side. It actually did become flipped over. So a few vehicles involved in this, and we are continuing to just keep an eye on many of our traffic cameras here just outside of the building. You can see this traffic here westbound stretching all the way close to exit 1 on the South Carolina side. So avoid this area if you can. Much more on that weekend forecast in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Riley. The two-state is ramping up with Veterans Day events before tomorrow's holiday.
It sure is. There are parades tomorrow, but today Future Service members were able to meet with the present. Our Taylor Martin was at Augusta University for us today.
Thank you for your service. It's something you'll hear a lot this weekend. And today at Augusta University, you can hear the phrase throughout the ceremony as they celebrated veterans for their sacrifice. It's a day celebrating those who gave it all so we could have it all.
They have paved the way for us, and because of them, I am here today. And we just want to celebrate all branches of services that mean that we're taking care of our country.
And it means a little bit something different to everyone, especially for AU students like Caitlin Berner.
My dad didn't come home, so it is very important for me to see that other people's families got to know that their soldier came home, and it brings light to my heart.
Today, veterans celebrated Veterans Day with the singing of the national anthem, speakers, and a cake cutting ceremony for a joint celebration with the Marine Corps.
Because it's the Marine Corps birthday, we always celebrate our birthday, no matter where we're at. But it's also Veterans Day, so we combine the two together, and here we are.
Every day of the year, but especially this weekend, veterans across the world will hear this one phrase.
It's special when someone says thank you for your service and meaningful.
So when you see a veteran this weekend, make sure you thank them too. Reporting in Augusta, Taylor Martin on your side. Now, one veteran at today's event encouraged all veterans to say thank you for your support in return to thank you for your service.
All right, thanks for updating us on that, Taylor. And multiple Veterans Day events are planned for the Augusta area, but with this rain expected, you might be wondering if they'll be canceled. Organizers with the Augusta Veterans Day Parade tomorrow say the parade in downtown will continue rain or shine. Over in Aiken at the Aiken County Veterans Park, there's a Veterans Day service starting at 11. Grovetown held a ceremony yesterday at the Blue Star Memorial Park, and Augusta University held an event at the CSRA shows, or as the CSRA shows its appreciation for our military community. Well, 5 families are now displaced but not injured after a fire at the Azalea Park Apartments on Fayetteville Drive. Augusta firefighters responded to a structure fire involving 8 units and said that they arrived to heavy fire and smoke. Fire crews said they found someone trying to jump from a second-story window to escape those flames and rescued them with a ladder. The cause of this fire is still under investigation this evening.
Augusta fire crews also responded to a deadly fire on Huntington Street this morning. As they battled the flames, crews found the body of 34-year-old Luis Gonzalez in this abandoned house. They tell us he was homeless. 2 firefighters were burned, one on the forearm, the other on the legs. No word on what caused that fire yet. Fire crews in Henderson County, North Carolina, meanwhile, continue to make progress containing the fire known as the Poplar Drive fire that started last week. So far, more than 400 acres have burned. The good news, it's now 30% contained, which is better than yesterday when it was only 15% contained. The area is still under a state of emergency, and firefighters say the community is really stepping up to help them, like church groups feeding the crews around the clock.
It's important. They appreciate it, and they constantly tell us they really appreciate the hot meal and the chance to sit down and have hot coffee or whatever.
The group cooks from 6 to 8 in the morning and then the same times in the evening for dinner. Along with the community providing food, others also donated supplies, including water, which they need a lot of. Vice President Kamala Harris says Democrats have momentum less than 3 months out from South Carolina's first in the nation 2024 Democratic primary. Harris was in Columbia today alongside Congressman Jim Clyburn, officially filing for the Biden-Harris campaign to appear on the ballot for that primary.
Our State House reporter Mary Green was there and has more.
Vice President Kamala Harris beat Friday's filing deadline by about 2 hours here at South Carolina Democratic Party headquarters in Columbia. Then the Vice President thanked supporters gathered inside for the role South Carolina Democrats played in boosting President Joe Biden to the party's nomination in 2020.
Because of what you did in 2020, we have then come into office and with your support done a number of things that have been transformational for our country because of the work of the folks here in South Carolina.
Among those accomplishments, Harris highlighted the expansion of broadband access, student loan debt forgiveness, caps on insulin prices, and increased HBCU funding. She says Democrats have the wind at their backs following a successful night for the party in elections across the nation Tuesday. Polls nationwide and in early states suggest Biden's popularity is struggling a year out from the general election. South Carolina Congressman Jim Clyburn, a Biden-Harris campaign co-chair, dismissed those polls as a snapshot, saying former Presidents Bill Clinton and Barack Obama were also down at points before ultimately winning their re-elections.
It'll all come together. We're going to be fine. I have a lot of faith in the ability of Democrats to get the word out.
In a statement, SC GOP Chairman Drew McKissick expressed confidence that his party will retake the White House next year, adding, quote, "It's clear that Biden is an even bigger disappointment for South Carolinians in the Democrat Party than anyone ever expected," which I guess explains why he's not coming here to file in person. And of course, next year's South Carolina Democratic primary will be the first time it's the first in the nation after the DNC moved the Palmetto State up to the first slot at President Joe Biden's request. Reporting Columbia, I'm Mary Green.
And 4 candidates made today's filing deadline for South Carolina's Democratic primary. Biden, along with Minnesota Congressman Dean Phillips, activist Marianne Williamson, and political commentator Cenk Uygur.
A group of women in the Air Force that played a major role at home in World War II. Find out about the WASPs and what their hard path to veteran status was next.
And unfortunately, not the best weather for being outside this evening or really the entire weekend. We're looking pretty wet and chilly heading into our Saturday and Sunday. Full look at the forecast just after break.
Time and temp.
Style turkey at your local Popeyes this holiday season.
Welcome back as we're taking a live look here at Riverwatch and I-20. This is exit 200 westbound towards Atlanta. We have a multi-vehicle accident that's been backing up traffic for seems like a couple miles now. We know, of course, a couple vehicles, they've been working to clear this area for about an hour now. Riley, you have a different vantage point of just how bad this backup has been.
Yeah, so that was our tower cam actually looking down into where the accident happened. This is our camera just on our side, right on the interstate. So this is looking towards the Savannah River. So you can see that westbound traffic really impacted. That actually stretches all the way to at least exit 1, and I believe a little bit past exit 1 there on the South Carolina side. So try to avoid the state line if you can, especially if you're trying to head towards Atlanta. You're definitely going to run into a big slowdown, but thankfully it looks like they are starting to clean that up. Temperatures right now 68. We actually did get up to 79 earlier this afternoon, so temperatures have been dropping now that we've brought in just a little bit of light rain. Nothing overly heavy, but just enough to, it will impact you if you're going to be heading out this evening. You can see this skinny band of just very light rain stretching across the two-state, and what's going to be happening north of us, that wedge is going to be dropping south, so we're expecting a pretty big temperature drop to happen within the next several hours. Here's a closer zoomed in look at our radar network. Still some steady rain over Clarksville Lake for us here in Augusta, mainly north of the interstate at the moment, with some light rain over Evans and Martinez, but getting closer towards us here in Augusta. So I would imagine if you have any evening plans, just keep the raincoat on. May need to pull out the umbrella at some point, but hopefully we can get these football games in time. Now, rain chances, you can see, just kind of cover me up over the next couple of hours. Very high, but as we head later into tonight, we may see a little lull to where those rain chances drop off some, but still, as we head into the weekend, we're expecting those rain chances to ramp back up. Heading out to the football games, just bring the towel to wipe off the bleachers, and I would bring an umbrella because that light rain definitely looks like a good possibility for us. Temperatures 60s, falling into the 50s towards halftime, especially as we do see that backdoor cold front push through later tonight. Here's our weekend outlook. Unfortunately, not great for being outside. Temperatures will be 20 to 30 degrees cooler than our high temperatures so far this week, so only reaching the mid-50s tomorrow, low 50s on Sunday. Both days have a very high opportunity to see that rainfall. Here's an hour-by-hour look at it, so just a chance for some light rain as we continue this evening and tonight. As we head into early tomorrow, you can see that rain just expanding in coverage across the area. Now, rain total-wise, even though it's going to rain pretty much all day Saturday and most of Sunday, rain totals look to stay below an inch for most spots. We may see some isolated areas get up to an inch, but for the most part, this is just going to be light rain that just impacts us throughout the day Saturday and even Sunday. You can see our temperatures holding steady in the 50s, and that northeast wind could be breezy at times, pretty steady at least around 8 to 12 through both afternoons this weekend. Veterans Day Parade, it's going on rain or shine, so I think they can manage some light rain for the Veterans Day Parade, but definitely dress warm. And as we head into next week, those temperatures get back into the 60s, and then more rain by the middle of next week.
All right, thanks for that, Riley. Women Air Force Service pilots, or otherwise known as WASPs in World War II, were asked.
A Horry County man was pulled over last month, and usually that would be a bad thing, but this time it saved his life. 68-year-old Kenneth Holleran was on his way to his doctor's appointment when he felt confused. He was weaving in and out of traffic and nearly ran a red light. When an Horry County deputy stopped him, he immediately realized that Holleran was having an emergency and called for help as Holleran's blood sugar dropped. Then he visited him in the hospital the very next day. Now, Holleran spoke on that day in the second stop from that deputy.
I'm so grateful for what he did and for the example of what being a good officer was.
He gives me most of the credit, but truly it's a team effort.
Holleran was in the hospital for roughly 3 days and said he feels much better now. Quick thinking there from that deputy in Horry County. Well, the Wall That Heals, it's a traveling exhibit that stopped in Spartanburg, South Carolina, honoring our veterans. Let's pay tribute there.
Last weekend, Vets for Vets helped one Augusta veteran with a check to remodel his house. This week they were in Charleston helping another. Stephen Keller's neighbor nominated him, and the organization is renovating the 24-year-old Navy veterans home. From the foundation to the appliances, they will take care of it.
weighed in a factor of him being fully retired military, police officer, and his wife a first responder. I mean, you can't ask for them to give much more, so it's about time they got something in return.
In the coming weeks, the charity will sit down with the callers to see what all needs to be done and figure out what bills that are a burden so they can get even more assistance. But what a great way to say thank you.
Absolutely.
For your service.
A great show up there, too. Turnout. Well, a discontinued Reese's flavor is on its way back when the caramel or caramel cup returns next.
I'm a Charlie. It's holiday every day with Verizon.
Hershey's has announced it's bringing back caramel to their Reese's peanut butter cups, introducing Reese's Caramel Big Cup in regular and king sizes.
All right, it's all due a change.org petition that started 2 years ago to bring back the caramel cups. Yum, after they were discontinued.
Wait, no, they were so passionate about this, they decided to change.org.
Oh, yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, I mean, that goes to show you can.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I was just.
No, it's okay. They call the cup perfection perfected. And now, well, we can see if we agree. They're in stores starting next Friday.
Oh, we're going to have to go try that out.
Looks
good.
I know,
Looks
that's
good.
actually looks very
see why they
appetizing.
wanted it back.
Absolutely. I like those two things, so together they can't be bad.
Explosion in your mouth. There you go.
There you go. Hey, we got a little bit of fog trying to form on the Savannah River. This is all thanks to some rain out there, some temperatures cooling off. If you're stepping out this evening, definitely grab the jacket. We got a lot more rain heading our way this weekend and much cooler temps, only in the 50s the next couple of days. Stick with us. Much more on Live at 5 just after the break.